The No Fate channel, checking in, and today I'm going to go over the complete installation and assembly process for this Titan Fitness multifunctional trainer. Everything you need to know and everything you need to do to save yourself time and headache. If you haven't bought it, you need to watch this video. If you've bought it and haven't received it, you certainly need to watch this video. And if it has arrived but you haven't started putting it together, oh man, you need to watch this video. First and foremost, if this happens to be your first time to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. On this series, I review a piece of home gym equipment to help you decide if it's right for your home gym and if it's going to fit your fitness needs, and most importantly, if it is worth your hard-earned money. Today, we are dedicated to this Titan Fitness multifunctional rig and how you can assemble it, how you can buy it, and how you can do so without any headache. I'm going to go through all the steps. Let's get started. If you have not bought this already, I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description below. It costs $2,000 on their website. If you click on that link, it does help out the channel. It's going to bring you right to this multifunctional rig. Shipping is, of course, free. That's Titan Fitness's kind of way that they help promote their sales. And of course, you do have to pay any type of sales tax. If you go to the website, it is probably going to be back ordered. It is 2020. And as we know, gym equipment is very scarce. Don't worry. With regards to Titan Fitness on their back order, with regards to this piece of equipment and other stuff I've bought from them, I will say they usually beat or improve on their back order dates. And they're pretty spot on. This one came in actually a week early. So let's get started. If you've already bought it but haven't received it, what do you need to know? It is going to be delivered by a third-party seller. Essentially, they're going to ship a crate. It doesn't come assembled, which is why you're probably watching this video. They're going to ship a crate to a third party. That third party will then contact you to schedule for delivery. They're going to give you a time frame and a window, and you have to be home to receive it. A few things of note: if you haven't already received it yet, know where you're going to have them put it. Keep in mind, they're usually going to just take it off the truck with a pallet. It's going to come in a box. I'll show you a photo of or video of me opening up the box. It's going to come in a box that can be lifted by a pallet jack or a forklift. They're going to just want to drop it right at the edge of the street or right on the curb. The reality is, if you know in advance where you think the best place is to position it, you should tell them, because they might be more accommodating, especially if it is not over anything bumpy. For me, I had them put it I have a driveway that slopes down. I had them just kind of push it down and right into the garage. Reason being, even though we're in the basement, it gave me an opportunity and time to open it up and move all the pieces in at my leisure. Keep in mind, if they just drop it outside your home, you're going to be pretty much scrambling to bring it either inside your garage or inside your basement or wherever you want to set it up. So let's talk about that box. You need to open that box. You're going to need either a crowbar, a pry bar, or a back of a hammer. It doesn't take much to open up the box. Do be careful of the nails. They will catch you if you're not paying attention. In terms of how this thing comes packaged, they package it pretty tight, and they actually do a very, very good job packaging it. The big thing is you want a second set of hands to move it. If you're a big person, could you move it by yourself? Or if you've got a dolly or some way of moving it around, moving the bigger pieces around, absolutely you could do it by yourself, but it's going to be a nuisance, it's going to be a headache, and it's going to take you a lot longer. Even a second set of hands just for balancing is key. The big awkward pieces are these two side pieces right here. They come split apart, and frankly, they're not only heavy, but there's no good place to hold them. I ended up using like a wheelbarrow just for functionality, and I had a second set of hands, my wife, thanks to her, to kind of move this around and get it inside. The other thing that is heavy, but not necessarily, it's more heavy and awkward than it is with regards to being bulky, are the actual individual plates, which are kind of at my legs here. They come in about 60 or 70 pound actual boxes, and there's a lot of them, so that does take a while. Again, I use the wheelbarrow, and there's a lot of other smaller pieces and stuff, so certainly figure out where you're going to want them to drop it off, and then figure out who's going to help you move it to where you're going to assemble it. Ideally, you want them to drop it off as close to where you're going to actually assemble it as possible to save you the grunt work, the leg work. So when you open it up and unpack it and get it where you want to install it, you're going to realize there's no instructions. It doesn't come with any instructions. Everything today is online, and you are going to have to go online to pick up the instructions. I'll put a link to those instructions in the description of this video. There are actually 4 steps but there's really a few more than 4 steps, okay? There's actually 4 or 5 steps, but there's only 4 steps listed here. Overall, the instructions aren't that bad. If you print them, it's going to be good to have on hand. I would say read through them twice online because the quality online is going to be better than the printed version. And you definitely want to read through the instructions twice since there's only like 4 steps. Read through them to get a feel for what's going on. But keep in mind, we're not going to follow the steps like for like. For tools, what does it come with? It comes with this gnarly thing that I don't know how you would ever install this. I'd probably still be screwing some of this stuff down with this thing. Absolutely junk and absolutely useless. And it comes with some cheesy Allen wrenches that are okay. What you're going to want to have is, if you already have an Allen wrench set, great. I wouldn't necessarily say go out and buy one, but certainly something good to have on hand because these are going to be better quality and just make the process a little bit easier than the ones that they provide. Also, probably the biggest thing that you need to have is a socket wrench set. If you don't already have a socket wrench set, this is an ideal time to get one. Once you have one, you're going to use it a ton, but certainly pick yourself up a socket wrench set, and you're going to need like a ratchet to hold the other side down of some of those sockets. So now that we have the materials that you're going to need, let's go over step by step. Now the first step is, again, where you're going to want a second set of hands. Could you do it by yourself, or could you do it if you had like a ladder or something to prop it up? Absolutely. The first step is actually probably the easiest. However, again, without a second set of hands, it can be difficult. You're going to install this side piece, and then these 2 back pieces here, top and bottom. That's going to be basically the major support with regards to this multifunctional rig. And until you get those attached, these pieces are just going to be wobbly and whatnot. Keep in mind when you are moving the stuff in that these pieces right here do have a right side and a left side. Be aware of which is which, so hopefully you don't have to move them twice. That's a mistake I made. Of course, odds are I had them flip-flopped and I actually had to move them. So keep in mind when you're moving those in to hopefully save you just one extra step. The time you save is the time that you're going to be able to keep down the road. So as far as putting these together, it is fairly simple if you can line them up and have a second set of hands. They will tell you in the steps to tighten everything down. I'm going to tell you when you once you get these things connected and hooked up, okay, before you tighten everything down, figure out an idea of where you're going to want them. Then start tightening them down a little bit, okay? So there's all these different sides. If you just crank one side down all the way, it's not going to sit properly. So you want to crank them, kind of just work your way around the bolts, you know, one at a time, just kind of getting them snug and then going back as you tighten them. Then once they're all attached, put it where you want the final resting spot to be. Keep in mind, again, this is going to be bulky to move. A second set of hands is going to be ideal, and hopefully you can just kind of pick up and drag slightly to find the final resting spot. So let's talk about where you should put this very quickly. As you can see, hopefully you can see, maybe you can't, but you'll see it in the video. I'm on a horse stall mat. I got a video on why horse stall mats make great gym flooring, but that's besides the point. You want it off the floor to prevent the absorption of moisture, and you really want it away from, or at least not touching, the wall. Which you hopefully can see here is there's a little bit of gap both at the top and the bottom, just enough so it's not touching the wall. Reason being is you don't want the machine equipment to absorb moisture. If it's on the floor or against the wall, it's going to absorb unnecessary moisture. That's going to basically cause it to rust quicker. So okay, so you've got everything where you want it to be. Then you want to essentially install the pull-up bar. Doing the same thing. A second set of hands is ideal, maybe even a step ladder. I use the step ladder and a second set of hands. And then again, once you have the bolts connected, tighten them down a little on each side. Don't just go ham on one side and then go to the other. And that's going to help keep it even and make sure it's aligned and keep it as steady as possible. Now we're on step 2. You've already attached the pull-up bar and the feet. Keep in mind the feet are not going to add any further width to this multifunctional rig. There is a left foot and a right foot, so keep that in mind when you are installing them so you don't have to undo it like I almost had to do. The second step overall is the easiest step by far. And again, the same thing with the feet. Don't tighten one side down all the way. Get it snug, tighten the other side down, and make sure that it is level and that there's no give to this thing before you really crank down on both sides. So step 3 is by far the longest and most arduous step, and it involves the most lifting. You're going to be using these guide rods, and they are going to swing out, and you're going to load the plates one at a time. You're going to tell yourself you should be doing 2 or 3 at a time. Don't. Slow and steady is going to win the race. One thing that I did realize, or I felt that these guide rods really came out, especially when there's a lot of weight on them, and I didn't want the actual rods to bend or torque at all. So on the second time I went around, I got a bungee cord just to keep a little bit of tension on these rods in order so that they didn't come out too far. Just kind of kept them just a little bit of an angle, enough to get it in. The last piece, the last plate that's going to go on is going to be the guiding rod, and then you're going to attach this pulley. Hopefully you can see it here, but if not, I'll put the video of it up. The pulley actually has to come apart. Then you're going to put the pulley in. You're going to put the actual outer piece in, and then you're going to put the inner piece in and put that pulley back together. So that's one of the things that, one of the steps that they really don't explain very well in the instructions. After doing it, it certainly seems self-explanatory, but keep that in mind. You are going to have to take this whole pulley system apart, screw it down, and then put the pulley system back in with that cord underneath. Now on to the fourth and final step, and this is where things get hairy because they don't tell you the fifth step, which they don't have listed here, should come before the fourth step. And that's where I made a big mistake, and hopefully you can correct, you can catch it before you do. These side pieces only serve one purpose, and that is to prevent really people's hands from going in here. And it's just a safety thing. The fifth step that they don't tell you about is the stickers, which hopefully you can see. I'll put footage of me putting them up, but they are essentially the weight stickers that help you differentiate. There's two sets of stickers that go from 200 pounds all the way up to 10 pounds. And there's two problems with this. If you put these guide rails on, it's so much harder to put the stickers on. So put the stickers on before the guide rails go on. Secondly, be wary of how you're going to act, what you're going to be able to see once these guide rails come on. So I put these stickers both on the back side. However, there's two different weights on these stickers. There's the kilograms and there's the pounds, which is fine. But on this side, I can easily see the kilograms, and the pounds are almost obscured by the plates. On this side, I can see the pounds, and the kilograms are obscured by the plates. So keep that in mind when you place the stickers. You might want to actually place them opposite in order so that you're either seeing all kilograms or all pounds in terms of what's going to be visible to you once these are on. In terms of putting these on, they go on fairly easily. One thing I would say is don't ratchet down these bolts here. There's two on the side and two on the bottom. No need to ratchet them down because they're just holding it in place. There's not actually any weight loading or bearing or anything like that. If you ratchet them down too hard, it's just going to be a nuisance later on when you try to take it off to clean or lubricate this piece of equipment. One final thing to note that I did tighten down that they never said to was this actual cable bolt. It was very, very loose on both sides, and I think that was intentional in order to kind of get the pulley system in place to kind of have a little bit more give, but they were so loose I was actually nervous about using them. I did tighten these down. I didn't crank down on them, but I did tighten them down, so obviously they're not going to back out. Now, if you've got any questions regarding this Titan Fitness multifunctional rig, drop them in the comments below because I bet you're not the only one. So we'll put the questions in there. I'll answer anything I can. At the end of this video, I'm going to put all of the footage of the installation process slowed down. So that'll hopefully give you a chance if you had any questions that I didn't answer or any type of technique that I may have used or ones that you might want to avoid, hopefully you can see it there. But again, drop your questions down below. I know other people watching this video are going to have the same questions, so hopefully we can have some back and forth and people can see that and get their questions answered. If you are interested in this multifunctional rig and you're interested in buying it, please click on the affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything. It's going to get you the best price possible, and it's going to give me a bit of a kickback and help me and essentially keep doing these reviews. And that's why I do these reviews, to help you out. So as usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.